I've never shared this, but I normally bring my coffee and smoke outside to enjoy every morning. It eases me into my day. One overcast morning, I was having my smoke and coffee, and through the thick cloud blanket, I saw a huge shadow glide above me. It was a black silhouette that in all manner reminded me of what I can only describe as a giant catfish shape. It literally swam with that side-to-side glide that is so indicative to that bottom feeder. I watched this dark catfish shape move organically through the clouds right over me, just like a fish swimming in water, until it vanished in the thick, milky clouds. I ran through all the possibilities: a low-flying plane, no. Some sort of kite, no. A blimp, no. I Googled the radar data. So to this day, I'm utterly miffed. All I'm left with is, one morning, I saw a catfish-like thing swim in the clouds above me.
I've had a few, but one of the ones that stands out to me is I was having this dream. It was me and my roommate discussing life in our kitchen when Dream Me started to feel weird. I remember my dream self feeling nausea and feeling extremely out of place, so Dream Me says to my roommate, "Dude, I feel really weird." And my roommate's dream apparition suddenly gets very stone-faced and says, "Well, of course you do. It's the witching hour." And boom, I was awake, quickly rolled over and snagged my phone, and sure enough, it was 3 a.m. I've been told I was astral projecting, but all I can say about the experience was it was extremely unsettling. Another one that stands out to me was a time I was at my parents' house, which is right down the road from my apartment. I don't know why, but I decided to go back home to grab something. Now at the time, both of my roommates were at work, and my apartment was empty. It's on the second story of the building, so once you get inside, you have to go upstairs. And the first room to your left at the top is the same kitchen in which the earlier dream took place. So I'm climbing those stairs when I hear water start to run, and I thought to myself, that's odd, and like a true movie protagonist climbed slowly up the stairs, a tiny bit creeped out, and rounded the corner into the kitchen to find the kitchen sink running full tilt. Now it was off when I left about a half hour before, and I can swear, I heard it turn on as I climbed the stairs, so extremely freaked out. I noped out of my apartment, leaving the sink running, and ran back to my parents' house. It's not horribly important to my story, but my father claims to be able to feel the presence of good and evil spirits, and also claims he can feel them move away from him like they're scared ever since. He had this one odd dream where he got into a tangle with these harpy-like entities, so fearing spirits, I grab him and head back to my apartment. We climb the stairs, and he says he doesn't feel anything off. And when we reach the kitchen, the faucet is off, so I knock on my roommate's doors and confirm they aren't home. It was super freaky, and I still am not sure if I was hallucinating or what.
Once something happened to my son that we have not yet explained. He used to come home from work at 1 or 2 in the morning, and one time he came and went up to the bathroom on the second floor, and he says he heard someone coming down the stairs. Fans said, "It's my son, he has to go see if I brought him bread or something from work." The strange thing is that when he comes out, he sees that he is not there. Millet had gone to his grandparents' house to sleep. In his room there was a door to a terrace, second floor. The next day he tells me that he clearly heard coming down the stairs, and when he tells me about the door, I tell him that the morning. I woke up and went into my son's room. The door was open. We still don't know how to explain what happened, paranormal, yes, because something or someone came down the stairs, and that night there were only him and I at home, but I was asleep. What do you think it could have been?
It took me a while to write this down, but it's a true story that happened to me personally in 2018. I was working part-time at a small hotel in Annaba, a coastal city in the east of Algeria. Close to the Mediterranean Sea, it wasn't a luxury place. Just a regular old building near the city center where travelers and businessmen used to stay. There was one thing everyone at the hotel knew: room 27. The staff never booked it unless the hotel was completely full. Officially, we used to say it was under maintenance. But the truth was, nobody wanted to deal with what happened there. One night, a businessman arrived late from Algiers. The hotel was full, except for room 27. I tried to convince him to take another option. He even suggested he'd find another hotel, but he was tired and insisted. So I gave him the key. Around 2 a.m., I was at the reception desk when I saw him coming down the stairs. Pale, sweating, shaking like he'd seen death itself. He dropped the key on the counter and whispered, "Who was in the room with me?" I said, "Sir, you were alone?" He leaned closer, eyes wide. "No. I heard footsteps, Someone was walking inside. I heard coughing, doors opening and closing. But I was alone, right? Before I could answer, he just left. Didn't even ask for his money back. The next morning, we checked room 27. The weirdest thing, all the heavy wooden chairs which were bolted to the floor were somehow turned to face the big mirror on the wall. Since that night, the management officially locked room 27. The door is chained from the inside, but sometimes, when the whole hotel is quiet, we still hear the door slam upstairs, like someone went inside. And the creepiest part, no one has touched that room since. Elle still remembered that night to this day.
My dad passed away 3 days before my birthday. My sister and I were going through the safe to look for some documents for the VA. Since we were helping my mom with funeral arrangements, my dad's affairs. While we were looking for the paperwork, I found my birth certificate. I was looking at it, and I found out the time I was born at 12:10 a.m. The morning of my birthday, my sister, my brother-in-law, and I were sitting in the living room talking. We were still up. The home phone rang. My sister got up and answered it, and when she picked it up, she heard nothing but static. She said hello with no response, and she hung up the phone. The phone rang again. She picked up only to hear static again and nothing. She said hello again with no response, and she hung up. We all thought it was weird that happened twice. I told my sister it might be family from California or the Philippines, but my sister said, "No, and look at the time." We all looked at the clock in the living room, and it was 12:10 a.m. The time I was born. I got goosebumps, hair standing up, and I busted out crying. My sister said it was our dad wishing me a happy birthday. Also, one day my son and I were spending the day today. I'm serious here. Every radio station, store and grocery store we visited played my dad's favorite bands, the Beatles and Journey. My son told me that's crazy. I told him it was Papa, who my son calls, saying hello and that he's watching over us.
Our previous house was haunted. There was a little girl named Annie and also a man. When we first moved in, there would be a flowery perfume smell on and off in our downstairs hallway. Think Saltbox-style house. That went away after the first few months. Toys would be moved around regularly. Chairs would shake occasionally. Things would disappear from where you laid them, but would be returned later. Footsteps, sound of change falling, but no change found on the floor. Once we came home to our dining room door closed and our chairs piled in front of it. I saw the man maybe a half dozen times very clearly. Annie would sometimes run really fast through the house, leaving a wind trail behind her, but she just looked like a white blur. We brought in a medium who gave us a bunch of information that we were able to verify by old letters we found in the house and elderly neighbors. There was never any fear or anything, just two extra beings that we didn't have to feed.